doing just fine.
Guys, this whole Crown Vic build has been absolutely awesome. I've had so much fun with this big, stupid whale of a car. I never would have imagined I would have had this much fun with this thing. And it's just getting better. So guys, now with the Holly here, we are trying to get this thing to be able to perform even better and be able to really turn it up even more. Before we get to the next part of the video, I wanted to say thank you guys for all of your support through buying our Fasterproms merch. It fuels us and keeps us going in a direction that we otherwise wouldn't be able to dedicate the time into building our own stuff. And if you haven't, please check out our store. We got a lot of neat stuff there. Hopefully you can find something that you enjoy. Now, let's get on to the video. Well, fellas, we're taking a few hours off of working on the Legend. This thing is torn apart. We were working on getting the harness back into it. As you guys might have seen on some other videos, we got some parts going back in the engine. Uncle Sam is still apart. We're waiting on some valves, and the cylinder heads are off at the machine shop. But today is the day for the Crown Vic. Georgie, you got your hands full with a whole lot of stuff. It's kind of a big deal. I mean, James made it sound like this is going to be like a couple hour ordeal.
Yeah.
No.
No.
I mean, while there's a whole lot of stuff that makes this, you know, vastly easy to cover on a lot of different areas, there's still a lot of just groundwork that we have to do, certain things we have to change and manipulate. But this is going to totally transform our Crown Vic into something that I am even more excited about. I think our power potential is going to go up, the drivability is going to go up, and we got to be able to get faster. There is no doubt, because the thing is that we can also mess around with our boost builder. We can go up on E85. There's a faster, you just beep, 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 beep. Oh, dude, I think we're gonna have a fantastic time getting this thing to go a bit faster. But this is where it starts. The Holly, really, really nice stuff. But we got a lot of work to do. One thing that we're not
impounded.
Yeah, it is. It is. So we started off removing parts of the harness there, LS3 style injector that we're gonna have going in there.
I know what those plugs are.
Yeah, we got those.
That's about it.
One thing that we don't know yet is about the coil. So we don't know if we were missing harness. We got to get our questions answered about that. But the guys over at Holly have been incredibly helpful on answering any questions that we have. So we just got to get on the horn with that and find that out. But we're going to take you through this whole journey right here. Well, this is where we're at right now. Got all this factory harness torn off. I'm trying to pick through the things that we need and that we don't need. So it's a little bit of a different approach. Normally we run all factory O2s. With the Holly, what we're doing is we're just gonna be running one wideband. Got a lot of questions answered. So we actually, with the Holly, we're gonna be able to run all of our forward sensors. So we don't have to change anything over. The harness that we have is going to plug right into all those factory coils and the factory coolant temperature sensor, as well as the TPS and the idle air control. We are going to have to put in a GM IAT, which is gonna go in right there. So that's intake air temperature sensor. But a lot of other stuff is pretty plug and play. Really, really nice and simple and straightforward. We haven't put our flex fuel in yet, but that's gonna go on our return style of our regulator right there. I think this thing actually needs some super clean. I mean, it looks so much better with all this extra junk out of the way. But this is, we could shine this thing up a little bit. Look a lot better.
Now you're speaking my language.
All right, so we got our injector harness up on there, and we got our 850cc injectors in there.
Nice and clean. We got them backwards. So, you know, we're pretty much going for the wire tough method here since we got a Holly. Ish. All right, we got our wideband and our little Y pipe there. We went to our custom Fasterproms painting booth right here. Looking good there. Yeah. Wasn't gonna charge you for the powder coat, but I had extra time today, so I ain't gonna charge you. Yeah, so we got a little tweak that we want to do on, I believe it was this side right here. We might have to put that back up in there, cut it, and it's got a little leak. Retweak it, yeah, it's got a little leak. Hopefully we can fix it. We definitely can fix it, but hopefully we do fix it. Couldn't have said it any better myself. All right, so let's go check out a couple more things we got going on with the Crown Vic here. Definitely changing some directions on a few things. All right, we've got a lot of useless space here.
I don't see any useless space.
Well, I mean, this tachometer is just, it works sometimes. I agree.
Somebody else could use that tach.
Now, we're going to have a GPS-based speedo. So, you know, I still want to have functional fuel level, battery voltage. Realistically, we could probably just go right here now. Initially, we thought, hey, stick this right in there.
Even though the radio only gets stations in other languages, we got to keep it.
All right, so there's a few things underneath the car that we want to check out and try and make those a little bit more efficient as well. If you were me, I'm looking at this right here and I just see a lot of ugly things. I basically view that whole area right there as a parachute. Can't have that, Laz.
I've heard this conversation with you before.
Yeah, we've done this before. You know, like the little lady that pissed in the sea. Hey, every little bit helps. We have acquired these. These are some C7 Corvette pieces, and when you put a supercharger kit on, this gets deleted. They give you a different piece. I was looking at this as we were doing some spring cleaning the other day, and we were kind of like, well, I could probably use this for another thing. Here, let me have you hold that for a second. So we don't know exactly what, but look, this is kind of staying with the spirit of the build. I mean, this thing was you know, we built a turbo kit out of literal junk that we had lying around. So this is some junk that we had lying around, and look, it's almost like a diffuser. We can cut this thing up, we can clean up the air. We did a little bit of a bumper tuck. I think we need to pull that in a little bit more. That's, yeah. This is a parachute, I'm telling you. You could probably pick up a little bit. We've done this on a couple other cars and had really good results. But if we can clean up this air just a little bit, maybe use 2 or 3 of these pieces and cut them up, we're gonna need 5 or 6 more of them.
At least 4. I'm saying 1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, I got 2 and then another piece that's oh, that was one. It's just had all the ribs scrubbed off.
Ribs and the hole for the heat exchanger?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Well, we'll see if we can make something of that happen. That's going to be over the course of this. And we do need to pull our sway bar. I think what we're going to be able to do with the Holly, having the boost builder, being able to leave on more boost, it's going to hit the tire harder. We want better weight transfer, and I'm kind of blown away that we didn't pull the sway bar before, so that's gonna go as well. But between those, this will help at speed and possibly pick up, you know, it could pick up a half mile an hour, maybe a mile an hour, you never know.
Picks up every time it goes to the track, so you never know. This thing just keeps getting faster and faster and faster and faster and faster.
Have you discussed fuel system yet?
No. Well, right now we have one 450 liter per hour Walbro, and we just talked with Holly, and we've got a twin pump coming. It's got a super nice, you know, 2-into-1, and it's going to be a solid 550 liter per hour. I forgot what they said that's rated at power-wise, but it was a lot and more than we're going to make. But it's going to clean up everything in our fuel system. It's going to be a nice little deal, so that'll be a hand-me-down. We could probably take that fuel pump out and, you know, maybe give it to George for the burnout truck or something. Who knows, you know? And Laz can end up with the booster pump. So this is going to be a win-win for everybody.
It's going to be a favor for everybody.
I don't know what I'm looking at. George, you modified something here that's supposed to be nicer, cleaner, and
nicer, cleaner, cooler.
Oh yeah.
We had this big plate on there.
Yeah, that thing was stupid. Yeah.
So stupid and ugly, and you know what? Quite frankly, pretty heavy. That's got to be at least 12 pounds. Okay, I might be bluffing a little bit, but it's heavy.
11.
Pretty much gone, again, like we said, for the wire tuck. Until it gets a little too complicated, then they're just going to be probably just laying on the belt and everything else.
I don't...
Hopefully not.
What's this guy?
Who is this guy?
It's a bit cleaned up, though. It's a lot better than what it was.
Yeah, dude, super clean. The one and only. The best of the best. The purplest of the clean purple stuff. Super clean.
The cleanliness of the cleaners?
Now's the time.
Doesn't really work.
The cleanliness. Hey, if you ain't super clean, you ain't clean.
Word. Well, this is looking pretty good there, Georgie.
Pretty shabby. Not too shabby.
Pretty shabby?
It is pretty shabby, but it's not too shabby.
Yeah, you did the best you could with Fasterproms paint booth right there. We have our boost reference right here. This is a big one. We have drilled the guts out of this thing, Swiss cheesed it all to be able to get to our desired boost, which has been working awesome. However, now we have integrated boost control. This is going to be sick. This is the cheap, easy way to modify and just gain boost if you guys have turbo. And we're not going to do this anymore because we're going to do closed loop boost control, which is going to be absolute game changer. This now needs to be a pure, unadulterated, non-Swiss cheesed, no holes going in there, and then we're going to have the top side going through the Mac valve. That is going to allow us to, well, we're going to be able to make whatever boost we want. We'll find out where it lets go.
Are you going to be able to hand me down that boost controller to George?
On his
truck?
The hose? I got my own Holio hose.
Holio. You know, look, that thing makes everything else look bad. I think we're going to have to rattle can this too. She's looking really good, man.
In the car?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't want to take that out.
No.
This was a really awesome turbo kit, man. I really had so much fun doing this. It was miserable during the time, but afterwards, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. The more of the hard stuff we get done, the more I like the car.
Yeah.
Then the crappy stuff is out of the way. But I remember those days leading up to, we're going to turbo it one day, like, maybe Elias, we should just light it on fire real quick. He'll never know.
I'm going to call
I
him
think he got
sick.
struck by lightning. Call it sick. I drove at your house, your truck wasn't there. I seen it at the beach.
Diarrhea.
Dude, it freaking rips.
All right, fellas, I got a very special person I wanted you guys to meet, and he has been around racing for a long time, been all over the place. Guys, this is Dickie Venables, Top Fuel crew chief and Top Fuel Funny Car. Yep. And dude, congratulations! Last year you won a championship, man. That's pretty freaking awesome. So
we had a great season last year.
We were actually just talking about it here, and I had done something recently on a gentleman that I had known named John Pataki, and that's who had, I guess, introduced us. And I think I might have known you actually longer than I thought. So
yeah, you know, I can't honestly remember either, but that's definitely through John is how we met, and you and I've stayed in touch over the years, and you've come to a few races, and I was just kind of looking forward to come see what you do, you know.
Yeah, man, no, this has been awesome.
Yeah.
So the amount of information in this guy's brain is absolutely mind-boggling. So I want to be able to talk technical, some nerdy stuff with that, but also just kind of what's going on in his life. Well, we actually just went for a quick little ride in this thing, so I got, does that get your certified stamp of approval or what?
Yes, this unit right here, I've ridden in a lot of fast cars, but this got my attention, I gotta say. It scared me, but I mean, it's beyond impressive.
Very cool.
For sure. I ain't gonna lie.
Dude, you build and deal with and tune, and I mean, so you are the tuner. So, you know, we can talk timing curves and so on and so forth, and you know, some of the guys will watch what I do as far as what I do with HB tuners, and we're talking about, hey, we're dealing with, you know, 18, 19, 25 degrees of timing, and we're usually using, you know, 93 or pump gas. Well, you're at how much nitro now? So what is the percentage that you guys are limited to?
90% nitro,
90, okay.
And we run, you know, within 4% of that or right on it. It's where we try and run it.
Okay, so last time I actually went to Gator Nationals, I got to see you guys. You guys had a mile-an-hour record at 335 miles an hour, and that was really cool. We were talking about some of the details, headers, and how the headers had changed the mile an hour, and some of the aero had changed a few things. Yeah. Man, just crazy, crazy stuff. So you're making, it's got to be near 10,000 horsepower now.
Yeah, I mean, we actually have torque meters now, and it's actually a little north of 10, closer to 11.
Dude, that's
but
nuts.
no, you're dealing with 80-90% nitro, and it burns, you know, 5 gallons in 3.8 seconds, you know. So it's a tremendous amount of fuel. The fuel's very powerful. So that, you know, between that and some aero stuff, chassis design, you know, years and years, they just seem to keep getting faster and faster.
I wanted to know, I know the blowers are big, but they're what is it, 1871? Is that what they are? Or?
Technically, it's a 1471.
14, okay.
It's a 19-inch rotor length.
Gotcha.
High helix, or it's actually a helix shaped rotor.
And the displacement on that blower, I was trying to figure it out, and I couldn't figure it out, but it's gigantic.
It is. We're around 3,500 CFM because we have a dyno, and that's at 11,000. Our engine obviously doesn't rev that high, but we overdrive it like you do all your stuff. So yeah, it's a crazy number. It moves a lot of air.
Comparatively, like we had done some stuff for your ZR1 way back in the day. We've done some stuff for the CTSV, and we're used to those. You know, what we deal with is the small blowers, you know, 1900, 2300. This is like, it's like 3 times the size that, I mean, as far as the volume. I mean, is that a close estimate?
It's close. Yeah, I mean, for instance, our fuel pump, it pumps 114 gallons per minute. Wow. And during a run, it runs at 700 to 800 pounds of fuel pressure. You know, unlike what you do, that's how we control our fuel volume. Like you'll do it electronically with injectors and things like that. We have injectors. In fact, we have actually 4 injectors per cylinder.
Wow.
And you know, you add up all that area and then put 700-800 pounds behind it. It's a lot of fuel, and we change that fuel volume by a fuel pressure regulator that we're able to manipulate going down the track.
4 injectors, and you said you were making around 60 pounds of boost, and 60 degrees of timing. That's just all the timing. I mean, nitro is a whole different world than what, you know, we deal with. So
yeah, it's a lot of timing. But there's a lot of things that go along with it, as you well know. Like our compression ratio is 6 to 1.
Oh my gosh, really? I kept thinking it was so much higher than that.
No.
Wow.
No, because you know, if you're going to have nitro and all that timing, and something's got to give, right? And it's just what we learned over the years. Nitro likes a lot of boost, not as much compression, and you know, because fuel volume actually makes compression too, because it takes up space.
Yeah.
So.
You're absolutely right, and you're throwing a lot in there.
Yes.
And I mean, dynamic cylinder compression, I mean, you got to be through the roof.
I couldn't. Wouldn't even venture a guess.
60 pounds of boost with X amount of fuel. Oh my gosh, dude. That's so yeah, that 6 to 1 has now changed, you know, dynamically. But wow, that's
and I mean,
that's
you've
crazy.
been to the track and seen it warm up. Those, whatever it is, 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, it'll burn 10 gallons of fuel sitting there idling.
Wow, that is nuts.
You know, so it's a lot of everything except maybe compression.
Yeah. No, that's crazy. That's a completely different world. I wanted to talk with you. I know Brent and Clay Milliken had been talking about doing some nitro stuff, and they started dabbling, doing some tuning, and I was like, oh man, I want to do that. That's so cool. You know, I want to be able to play around with that, but I'm trying to think of a car to do it with. That is something that I do want to do. I'll be calling you. I'll definitely be bouncing some ideas off you.
I'll do what I can to help. I always tell people, when you're dealing with nitro, all bets are off. You're on your own. It's magical stuff.
Oh,
you know, it's kind of like nitrous, and it just does some super things. And you know, the main thing about it, it burns really hot.
Yeah.
You know, compared to gasoline, it burns slower.
So it should want a lot of spark advance. So like, even if we were at a smaller percentage, say 30 to 50% or something like that, and even 50 might be pretty aggressive for a NA, you know, setup. I mean, we could probably run, what would you say, 4 or 5 degrees more timing easy?
Easy, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I mean, and the reason I say that is because when we go to a place like Denver, where there's a lot of altitude, we run 5 more degrees.
Wow. So 20% less air.
Generate, right.
Yeah, 20% less air at 5,000 feet, you know. So typically you go up a mile, you lose 20% air. I learned that actually when I was actually tuning out there myself once, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I didn't even think that they had 83 octane at the pump, for one. And then you know, the amount of spark advance that I could give to vehicles that were on 91 octane up there was just like mind-blowing. So yeah, small experience out there, but it was very interesting. And we went up to 11,000 feet. We had a truck that couldn't even get out of its own way. So it was down 40% power, naturally aspirated. It was just a dog.
I don't doubt it. It's a challenge for the fuel crew chiefs to, and any kind of drag racing car to run up there. You know, that is one place where we do raise a compression. You know, we run more, we try and run more boost, but it's hard to generate the same amount of boost because you're losing it just by being up on the mountain.
Yeah.
So it's a challenging place, but over the years, it's now gotten to where we can almost run as good there as we can in a lot of places at sea level. It's just, you learn.
It's really cool. I actually had a question that somebody had told me, and this kind of stems from half-mile racing. Though the air is less dense, if you can penetrate through the air, because it's less dense, even if you turn up the boost and so on and so forth, I was wondering how the mile an hours varied, because some of the cars were just as fast or faster half mile, even though they were down on power, if they turn up boost and so on and so forth, because they could penetrate through the air. What is your experience there?
Same thing, 100%.
That's so cool.
You know, it's easier to push the car through the air. You know, you're limited on power, but still you can run fast, and we run, obviously our aero package is adjustable. And we actually run less downforce, which is less drag. You know, and it's just, we've always done that when we go up there. But yeah, it's the exact same thing.
That's
like
really
the half-mile thing. You can run fast, a lot easier.
Another thing that I wanted to touch on here, an astronomical number of what we just discussed here. As you guys are right at the 1,000 foot, so you guys raised 1,000 foot.
Right.
What kind of downforce are you generating with your aero package there? Let's just say Gainesville, for example.
We can generate as much as 6,000 pounds, and like I said, that's adjustable. But even on the low side, you know, you never get below, you know, probably 4,800 on the low side, you know.
And what does the car weigh to begin with, though?
Right now they have to weigh 2375, I think.
Wow. So almost tripling the weight of the car. It's like 2.5 times the weight of the car with downforce. That is wild. Yeah, as you guys watch a car go down the track, you can actually kind of somewhat see it kind of squat a little bit.
You can see it, you know, make the bottom of the tire flat, because at that speed, that big tire, it wants to get really tall and grow. And you know, that downforce is fighting that, which that's what you want. But it's a balance, because if that tire gets a little bigger and it still has traction, your gear ratio is taller, you're going to run faster. So it's just a balance on traction, all of that.
So many things are just that, like that seesaw. You get this or you lose this, and man. There's another piece of information here that I was just mind blown away with was we were talking about headers, and this is something that even on that car I wanted to see done a while back, in the fact that the angle of how the header, or the downpipe for that matter, is, and how it affects, you know, what the car is doing as far as dynamically, it's giving the car more downforce and so on and so forth. So you had told me you guys had changed the header angle, and it was approximately 45 degrees.
I think it was closer to like 48 or 50.
Okay.
I honestly don't remember.
So we have a header exiting at something like that, and then you guys went down to, what was it?
Well, we went down in increments, and it was one of the teams in our shop, wasn't actually our team. But they came up with it, and I want to say the first move, and we can just talk amounts, I think they might have moved them back 6 or 7 degrees to start with. And it was just one of those, they're looking at it in the shop, and you know, well, let's do this, and let's build a set and try it. And it was an immediate performance gain.
It's so hard with where you guys are at, and you're limited with what you can do, and trying to pick up increments it's all about increments. I mean, there's lots of money spent for lighter parts, and you know, this one that is nth degree better than that next part. And I mean, heck, you guys got blower dynos, so you have loads of things. You're doing everything you can to make more power, and this is not even necessarily more power, but the car went how much faster at 300 and some odd miles an hour.
I mean, it made the car seem like it was, you know, half the weight, and that's an exaggeration. But it just, all of the numbers within the 1,000 feet, it made them a whole lot easier to get. We had fooled with header angle before, and we back up a little bit. When you have that 6,000 pounds in the back, and you've got, you know, 1,000 in the front, so that 6,000 in the back is kind of behind the rear tire, so it's wanting to lift the front anyway. And that header angle, the headers is the biggest thing that keeps the front end down.
And it's kind of more mid, right? We've always been afraid to mess with that, you know, but as time goes on, like for us, you know, we work with Dodge Mopar, designing bodies and stuff, and they get a little better. You can make front, you know, like our downforce now is probably 1,000, and 15 years ago it was probably half of that, you know. So it just took somebody, and it was Jimmy Prock that worked for DSR at the time. He just said, hey, well, let's pull them back, and we get a run, let's bolt them on. And it just, it changed the sport. And that was just the first iteration. You know, we kept going back and back and back. And 4 or 5 miles an hour, is that outlandish?
Oh, easily. No, 4 or 5 easily.
And I mean,
probably
that's
the biggest
head and
thing,
shoulders above anything else.
You know, these cars, they used to be a good 60-foot number, be like, you know, 0.8 or something. Well, it for sure picked up a couple of hundredths in 60 feet. You know, so now you're able to run
0.7 something.
6.
Oh wow.
Or even a little quicker. And the 330 time, a good one used to be 226 or something. Now you can run, when it's really good, 2.20. So in 300 feet, you've picked up 600ths on what you had with the old header.
Wow.
And that just carries, you know, incrementally down the track.
Ooh, listen to that turn ski.
Fellas, we'll have the second half of that interview on another video coming up here shortly. Talking with Dickie is just mind-blowing with all of the stuff with Nitro. I find it so incredibly interesting. Hopefully you guys do as well. We're daily knocking out stuff on the Crown Vic, and it is coming together really rapidly. Guys, also give us a follow on Instagram. You can see some exclusive stuff there. Sometimes we have little previews of certain things here and there. Each day is a gift. Tomorrow is not promised, so I'm thankful for today. Guys, song I wanted to leave you here with is by Rat-a-tat, and it's called Cream on Chrome. It's a pretty neat little jam. Hope you guys enjoy it. God bless you. We'll see you next episode. Corby.
Oh, donut of shame.